Hello, everybody. Welcome to the HealthForce podcast. I am Fran Ramsden, and this is from RamsdenEliteFitness.com, RamsdenEliteFitness.com. Today's going to be a super practical episode. I've actually been on a big trip here on practicality lately. If you've listened to the last or most recent podcasts, it's been usually step one, do this. Step two, do this. I'm giving action steps to the audience, and sometimes it's great to do an episode that's all knowledge and education based, and then people can form their own action steps or their own decisions. And other times it's great and beneficial to just give them, tell them what to do. Step one, go. Step two, go. I don't want to, to dive into that a little bit further. It's not that health and fitness is easy and that everything is just boiled down to step 1, 2, and 3. It's not easy. Nothing in this industry is easy. We have this facade that it is because of marketing and because of our industry sucks. The fitness industry really sucks. To the tune that I think 90 to 95% of the health and fitness professionals, personal trainers, nutrition coaches, all that good stuff, either one of two things, 90 to 95% of them. Number one, they lack the education and knowledge to actually be efficient in this field. They're pushing propaganda, whether they actually... Well, it's not even propaganda. They're pushing pseudoscience and misinformation, whether they believe it or not. But also, number two, they don't care about, their top priority is not driving client result. It's usually profit. If you look at the business models, especially group fitness, we did a podcast, group fitness versus personal training. And I went very, very deep into those, the structure of just the behind-the-scenes business end of it and how much money people can make doing group fitness and charging a very low-value figure. It's profiting. It's very, very profitable. So there is this fake scenario that we have where everything's easy. It should be easy to lose weight. It should be easy to lose that 5 to 10 pounds, easy to get a six-pack, easy to feel good. And I'm here to tell you, because what we do is really drive the truth here, it's not easy. Nothing in health and fitness is easy. It usually comes down to willpower and going through something that really sucks. That's kind of what it boils down to. So, it's not that, and today we're going to be discussing hypothyroidism along with some other low metabolism, characteristics and what to do about it. And it's not that this is some big mystery, okay? This is not like a mystery disease where you have to go on a very, 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 very specific and limited diet and it's just really hard and you can't get progress and you'll be happy with maintenance. I'm here to tell you, I'm here to give you hope. It's not that. It's not that. If you have hypothyroidism or slow metabolism or no energy or any of the above, or maybe you've lost weight and now you're plateau, any of that, today's episode is going to be a practical 1, 2, 3 step sort of guide to get your ass moving and to take charge of this. Because if you just sit at home and just go, oh, well, my thyroid, I can't do anything. I'm telling you, you do that, you will stay exactly the same. Exactly the same. So we're going to jump right into it. Wikipedia, to set the context. I'm telling you what, folks. You can laugh all you want. Wikipedia is a great source for generalized information. It's a good context setter. It sets the right stage. Hypothyroidism is also called underactive thyroid or low thyroid, is a common disorder of the endocrine system in which the thyroid gland does not produce enough thyroid hormone. It can cause a number of symptoms such as poor ability to tolerate the cold, feeling of tiredness, constipation, depression, weight gain. Occasionally there may be swelling of the front part of the neck. Untreated hypothyroidism during pregnancy can lead to delays in growth. Skip around here a little bit. Worldwide, about 1 billion people are estimated to be iodine deficient. However, it is unknown how often this results in hypothyroidism. In the United States, hypothyroidism occurs in 0.3 to 0.4% of people. Subclinical hypothyroidism is a milder form. Talks about the TSH levels. Hypothyroidism is more common in women than men, and people over the age of 60 are more commonly affected. So, nice stage setter. We're going to go move on here. Thyroid.org for some more information, more context. This is thyroid.com. This is their hypothyroidism section. Hypothyroidism is an underactive thyroid gland, Hypothyroidism means that the thyroid gland can't make enough thyroid hormone to keep the body running normally. People are hypothyroid if they have too little thyroid hormone in the blood. Common causes are autoimmune disease, surgical removal of the thyroid, and radiation treatment. What are symptoms of hypothyroidism? When thyroid hormone levels are too low, the body's cells can't get enough thyroid hormone, and the body's processes start slowing down. As the body slows down, you may notice that you feel colder, you tire more easily, your skin gets drier, you're becoming forgetful and depressed, and you've started getting constipated. Because the symptoms are so variable and nonspecific, the only way to know for sure whether you have hypothyroidism is with a simple blood test for TSH. And that's thyroid stimulating hormone for those of you in the audience. Keeping other people informed, I don't really care about that. Can you expect over the long term? There is no cure for hypothyroidism, and most patients have it for life. And I actually want to stop. I want to stop right now because remember, I set the stage. We talked in the opening segment about this, about taking charge, taking control. Your situation it is what it is when it comes to this an underactive thyroid. It's not going to be magically changed. Okay, it's not going to be magically changed. So if you don't like the situation that you're in, it's time to search for a solution, and then not just like research and just listen and just that sounds cool, but I couldn't do that. Or no, then it becomes take action. You've got to do. If you don't, then you're going to be, this is it for the long term. Here you are. Then accept it. Okay? There are some exceptions. Many patients with viral thyroidism have their thyroid function return to normal, and some patients with thyroiditis after pregnancy. I got it. Hypothyroidism may become more or less severe, and your dose of thyroxine may need to change over time. You have to make it a lifetime commitment to treatment. But if you take your pills every day and work with your doctor to get and keep your thyroxine dose right, you should be able to keep your hypothyroidism completely controlled throughout your life. Your symptoms should disappear, and the serious effects of low thyroid hormone should stop getting worse, should actually improve. If you keep your hypothyroidism well controlled, it will not shorten your lifespan. So again, there are, you can take, I guess, quote-unquote medicine, right? You can take thyroxine, which will essentially produce the hormone for you. And again, that is something I encourage. That should be the first step. So if you're somebody that has hypothyroidism and you're not feeling well, or you feel like the medicine's not enough, you're not working, go talk to your doctor. You can get an increase in your meds so that it essentially is going to mimic the production of a healthy thyroid and should start to reverse things. So where people really suffer from hypothyroidism is in the beginning, when maybe they're undiagnosed, or they just started a regimen and they're not quite sure what the right dosage is. That's where the biggest learning gap is. After that, there are some steps, and we will get to those, that you can take to start to return to a normal life and feel normal again. But it's not, so yes, you have an underactive thyroid for the rest of your life, but there are hacks, right? There are hacks that we've developed through medicine to essentially allow you to operate as if it was a completely healthy and fully functioning thyroid. It goes into some causes, right? Autoimmune disease, surgical removal of your thyroid, radiation. You can be born with it. Different medicines, iodine, the lack thereof, or an overdose of it, damage to the pituitary gland. Talks about how it's diagnosed. Okay, definitely could have medical and family history. Blood test, including the TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone test. This is the most important and sensitive test for hypothyroidism. It measures how much of the thyroid hormone, T4, which is thyroxine, the thyroid gland is being asked to make. An abnormally high TSH means that hypothyroidism, the thyroid gland is being asked to make more T4 because there isn't enough in the blood. Okay, so, again, it's the requests from your body. Your body's requesting more thyroid hormone. It sends that signal to the thyroid, but when you have hypothyroidism, it's just not able to produce what's being requested. Okay. How is it treated? T4 replacement. So hypothyroidism cannot be cured, but almost every patient, hypothyroidism can be completely controlled. It is treated by replacing the amount of hormone replacing the amount of hormone that your own thyroid can no longer make. It's to bring your T4 and TSH levels back to normal. So even if your thyroid gland can't work right, T4 replacement can restore your body's thyroid hormone levels and your body's functions. Synthetic thyroxine pills contain hormone exactly like the T4 that the thyroid gland itself makes. All hypothyroid patients, except those with severe, life-threatening hypothyroidism, can be treated as outpatients, not having to be admitted to the hospital. It talks about how important it is to follow up with people, right? Moving on, examine.com asks the question, can hypothyroidism lead to fat gain? And the answer is yes. A less active thyroid will reduce metabolic rate, can cause some weight gain. It is not a lot of weight gain, though, and a subactive thyroid is not an excuse for obesity. And I think we're starting to see this theme come up now, right? I'm going to read that last part one more time because I want people to get it. I want people to hear it. It is not a lot of weight gain. Subactive thyroid is not an excuse for obesity. So if you're somebody in the crowd, in the audience that is, super overweight or obese, and, you're going to, maybe you have hypothyroidism, and that's kind of your source of blame right now, well, then that's all it is you're playing the blame game. Playing the blame game. We have enough technology, enough, so that your low T4, that is a non-issue. You're able to supplement that in your body. And so it's one thing if you're on T4 replacement and you're still not getting enough and you're still having those symptoms. That's one thing. Then go to your doctor, work out the correct regimen, find the right dosage, get those things back to balanced normal level. But it's a completely different thing if you have normal T4 production now, and now you're somebody that sits there and goes, oh yeah, I have hypothyroidism. I have it, so I can't work out, I can't lose weight, I can't do anything. I'm just, I'm poor me. If you're somebody that's like that, well then look, I'm trying to reach you because this is not, that is not a valid excuse. It's based on nothing. Except for a lack of willpower, probably, right? So again, that's the theme. Low T4 levels, hypothyroidism. This is not some death sentence. This is not some awful, super impossible disease or dysfunction of your body that you can't overcome. So let's take that narrative, put it in a piece of paper, crumble it up, throw it right in a trash can. This is not a disease that is impossible to overcome. So the question again, can hypothyroidism lead to fat gain? And the answer is a little bit. Thyroid problems play a negligible role in obesity. The American Thyroid Association states the following, quote, in general, 5 to 10 pounds of body weight may be attributable to the thyroid, depending on the severity of the hypothyroidism. Most of the weight gain, and that's close quote, folks, most of the weight gain directly associated with thyroid issues is negligible. In fact, the average weight loss from treatment was 4.3 kilograms, about 8 pounds, most of which was attributed to the excretion of excess body water. So pre-existing obesity, a diagnosis of Graves' disease, and prior weight loss independently predicted weight gain, and weight continued to rise with time. So again, yes, there is an effect. There is an effect, but it's not a significant one. And this is a perfect opportunity for me to explain exactly what is happening with your metabolism. And when you hear the term low metabolism, right? Oh, my thyroid hormone isn't working correctly. My metabolism is just so low that I can't lose weight. Let me explain a little bit about this. This is important. This is probably one of the most critical pieces of the education content of today's episode. Okay, here you go. Ready? Here's it in a nutshell. Your body is a machine. Treat it like a machine. It doesn't think like the actual body, the parts, the cells, the brain, the limbs, the brain, the skin, all of it it's not a rational thought. They don't think, oh, I don't want to burn off fat today. I'm going to sit here and do nothing. They don't think. Or, hey, you want a six-pack? Okay, great. I will start to turn. I'll change our metabolic rate. I'll start changing our processes, and we can get a six-pack. Yeah, body, let's do it. Okay, it doesn't work that way. So that's the first bit. You've got to understand. There are a couple major factors when it comes to weight loss or weight gain or slowing of metabolism. Number one is caloric intake. That is the amount of food that you eat on a daily basis, on a yearly basis. Just think about that, food. Anytime you put food into your body, you are intaking calories. Calories are energy. That's all they are, energy. Okay? Got it? So you eat, that's energy. Your body needs energy. Energy is good. Job well done. The second characteristic, the second thing that you need to know, the variable, is energy expenditure. Energy expenditure is the total amount of energy that your body needs and uses on a daily basis, on a yearly basis, etc., etc. Those two characteristics have a relationship. Caloric intake, energy expenditure. They have a direct relationship. If one is higher than the other, there is a result that happens. So if your caloric intake is greater than your energy expenditure, your body is bringing in more energy into it than it is burning off through its different processes, you will store the difference. You will store that difference in the human body, primarily as body fat. Primarily as body fat. So when you start to think of the grand scheme of this, the big scope, the big picture, some days you may have more, you may have a positive caloric balance, a surplus, and you store body fat. Some days you're negative, and and that goes the opposite way, where you're burning off more than you're taking in. So every day may be different, but it's looking at the big picture. It's looking at the habits that you form. Are you doing more days of caloric intake that are higher than what you're burning off, or more days that are even, or more days that are lower than your energy expenditure? And that's going to essentially result in your yearly output in terms of, did you gain 5 pounds this year, or 10 pounds, or 30, or what have you. That's what it really breaks down to, okay? If you consume less food, so you bring in less energy than your body is expending, less, your body will dip into its stored energy, because if you're eating more, it's stored, remember, body fat primarily. It will go into the body fat, break down those fatty acids, glucose, etc., whichever it needs for those energy processes, and will use up stored energy. And that will result in fat loss, weight loss. Body also breaks down muscle. Yes, I get it. There's water. Look, there's a lot of principles. I'm trying to speak on the macro level, right? Big picture. This is what happens. And that's practically it. End of story. I know there's a million people out there that push their stupid crap, their pseudoscience, their nonsense diets, their supplements. Oh, dairy is so bad. Sugar. Ooh, gluten. Don't touch gluten. Look, I know they're out there, and I know you hear them. You're inundated with them. They're wrong. Period. End of story. They're there to sell you a damn book. They're not here to... Tell me the last time one of these guys comes on and wants to explain this process about the human body, how it works. Like, can they get into detail like this? Do they want to? Do they have a podcast for free that they put out there and don't talk about their book 24/7 or about their programs and all their... I have an online course for $100. Come register on the webinar. Like, that's all they do, right? They use the platform for sales. Their book. It's a funnel for attention for sale. It's all name of the game, baby. Cha-ching, cha-ching. So I understand that information is out there. You see it all the time. I am telling you, there is an overwhelming body of evidence. It is accepted, widely accepted, by the way, widely accepted in the scientific community, the health and fitness community, if you really look at the qualified individuals, if you look at the top producers in this industry, it's widely accepted. Calories in, calories out, in a macro idea, perfect sense, it works, it's what happens. Okay? So let's accept that first. If you cannot accept that, you need to go do research right now on calories in versus calories out, if it fits your macros, the whole 9 yards. That's where you need to set aside your research. Because that's like the first level of understanding. That's the basement of the pyramid. That's the first level. That's the most basic. So if you don't accept that or can't get your head around that, then you cannot progress to the things that we're going to discuss next. Or, you have no business listening to somebody about insulin sensitivity and sugar, glucose, my insulin spikes. You have no business listening to that and trying to wrap your head around that if energy balance does not make sense or you don't believe it. First law of thermodynamics puts it very, very cleanly, very succinctly. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It has to go somewhere. So if you're eating more than the body actually gets rid of or uses, something's got to happen to that surplus. And it gets stored. And that's why people get fat. All right? Step one. That's step one. Step two. Here we go. Step two of the understanding pyramid of today's podcast. Let's get specific about some of the energy expenditure things. What does that mean? Okay, energy expenditure. What does my body do that has to use up energy or burn off energy? Well, there's a couple things. There is, and again, I'm trying to keep this super simple. So I don't want to start using all the I don't want to start using the scientific terms. Okay, I'm trying to convey this information in a way that can be easily understood. First, there are things that happen every day in your body, depending on your lifestyle, that play a role in how much energy you use up. So, for instance, things in your daily life that are not planned activity. So, your job, right? How much do you walk in a day because of your lifestyle, because of your job, because do you walk to work, walk to school? Do you get up in the morning, drive, sit at the desk all day, drive home, sit on the couch all day? Like all these different factors, right? Your daily lifestyle, that plays a role in how much energy you burn off. If you're somebody that's more active, if you walk for a living, if you walk to work, you walk to the bus, you're at a job where you're always moving around the office, or you're always walking to the next thing, or you're not always seated, you're going to have a higher energy expenditure than somebody that does the opposite, where they get up in the morning, they drive to work, they sit there for 8 to 10 hours, they drive home and probably sit more at home. That person's going to burn less energy off just because of their lifestyle. So that's the first component of it, is lifestyle. Plays a big role. When you think about it, if you go to the gym for a workout, that's 1 hour out of like 24 hours. The rest, the other 23 hours, the other 16 hours or whatever that you're awake, 15 hours you're awake, 17 hours that you're awake, that's going to play a big role compared to just 1 hour planned activity, right? Okay. So your lifestyle plays a factor. Planned activity is another factor. So yes, do you go to the gym? What workouts do you do? How often do you go? How many days a week? For how long? Planned activity is a role. Going hiking for 3 hours on a Saturday. That's planned. You don't usually do that every day. That's part of your energy expenditure in the big scope of things. Do you go to the gym 5 days a week? That plays a factor. So we've got lifestyle so far, and we've got our planned exercise. All right? Your metabolism plays a role. So this is the third component. This is one that people find the most interesting. There's a lot of theories around. People, especially with hypothyroidism, definitely know what this is about and use it as a source of explanation sometimes. And in most cases it's fair, but it's not a catch-all excuse either. So let me break this down a little bit. So your metabolism is essentially the scientific word for how much energy your body burns off to run itself on the cell level, on the different processes like digestion, and is it, in most bodies, some bodies are liberal with the calorie expenditure and some are conservative. Some don't. Sometimes your body is downregulated for a number of reasons and you don't burn off a lot of calories. Hypothyroidism, if it's untreated, your body downregulates, it conserves, it doesn't spend a lot of energy, which is why you feel like crap most of the time. Totally possible. The other can happen too. If you are eating a proper diet, one that we recommend at Ramsley Fitness, something that's going to be a favor to your metabolism, and you exercise and you have a nice planned physical activity schedule, your metabolism can increase. And what that means is your body just goes, look, we've got plenty of food, we need to increase our performance. Maybe your body doesn't understand exercise, by the way, folks. And it's a little asterisk here. Like when you're exercising, it probably thinks you're like fighting bears and stuff. Right? It just understands that there's stressors coming on and that you need to be able to physically perform. Okay? So, it'll ramp up production. It'll do the opposite. You will have a higher metabolic rate. So that plays a big role. Then there's a couple small things like the types of food you eat, that digestive process. If it's a food that takes a lot of effort to digest, you'll burn more calories than if you eat something like ice cream or protein. Even protein powder, like whey protein goes straight into the bloodstream for the most part. It's a liquid form. Not a lot of energy needed to get that there. Something like fiber, vegetables, meat, steak, all of that, it takes a little more to break down. So there are, depending on your diet, again, energy differences that will happen there. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Yes, there's things, I didn't talk about every little detail. There are things, we did not discuss, things we did discuss that are more complicated. I get it. But that was a pretty damn good overall summary of an individual on a big picture level, how to lose weight, how to gain weight, why it actually happens. That's it. Okay? Got to accept that. That's basic stuff. I didn't even use any sources to get that information out. That's just basic understanding of knowledge. That's not a complex scheme. Some things inside of those can be complex, like metabolism. If you pick out one specific criteria, one specific element, that can get complicated very quickly. But I'm speaking more so of the general. Now. How does this apply to hypothyroidism and a metabolic rate that may be affected by having low thyroid? And what should somebody do? First and foremost, you have got to get, I said it earlier, you've got to get your hormone replacement, your levels back to normal as if you have a fully functioning thyroid. Talk to your doctor. He should know. I don't know what the dosage of thyroxine is for you. Sorry, can't help there. It's not my area. Speak to your doctor. Get on the right plan, the right dose. You should feel pretty normal. Okay? That's step one. That's got to happen. It's got to happen. Next, you need to be partaking in regular planned physical activity 4 to 5 days a week. 4 to 5 days a week. If this is something that you're not willing to even consider, to even think about, turn off my podcast, turn this off, and keep living your life, because it only gets more tough and more complex from here. You've got to at least be willing and open to the idea that you need to exercise. You just can't do a hormone replacement, sit on your ass at home, and expect weight to just fly off. Nobody does that. Even if I myself have a fully functioning regular hormone, thyroid hormone. I'm completely clear. I'm good. If I sit on my ass all day and don't want to exercise or don't even think about it, I will most likely gain weight if I'm over-consuming food. And since most people do over-consume food, if there is not a strategy in place to counteract that, then you're going to gain weight. So don't blame thyroid. Blame your daily habits. This is part of what we're doing in this program. I'm starting to form these arguments that I want people to listen to, start to believe in. It's a re-education process. There's 90-95% of the people out there in my industry, they're telling you, they're making excuses. If that's what you want to do, go listen to them. There's plenty of them. They all sound the same too. They all sound like they're in fifth grade science class. You need my supplement because you gain weight. Like if you like that, go there. 4 to 5 days of planned activity. What does that most likely consist of? I don't care if you're a man, if you're a girl, if you're in your 50s, if you're 20, if you're 19, if you're 64. You should do strength and resistance training 3 times a week, if not more, in some form of cardiovascular training, whether that's a high intensity session, or even if you want to start at lower intensity cardio for longer periods of time, that's okay too. 2 to 3 times a week. Okay? 2 to 3 times a week. Something in that realm. I'm not going to nitpick. That's just a general guideline. Why would you reject that? What excuse could you possibly have to not even want to consider that? My mind, 2 things. 1, you just don't want to. Number 1. Number 2, you're still going through the education process of this very complex overall big plan of hypothyroidism. You're going through something that's tough. Health and fitness, for the most part, sucks. It's hard. It's not easy. No one loves to go on a diet. No one loves to go to the gym 5 days a week. I don't think most people love it. For the average person, it's tough to do. It's tough to become consistent. And that thought scares you. I implore you, you must reconsider. Such a big part because, again, like we talked about earlier, the stressors of exercise produce positive change in the body. All of the positive things that should be up, go up with exercise. All the things that are bad and should be down, go down even further with exercise. That's it in a nutshell. Without getting super complex and complicated, that's it. Everything, the depression, insulin, all of it. If it's supposed to be down, it goes down when you exercise. If it's supposed to be high and go up, when you exercise, it tends to go up. That's a nice general statement. Exercise is like the wonder drug of the 2000s, of this era. We just haven't figured it out yet. Most of us just haven't figured it out yet. It doesn't even matter what you do, strength and conditioning wise. I don't care if you do body weight. I don't care if you do run on the treadmill, if you go for a walk around town. You've got to get your exercise, because those stressors tell the body to ramp up metabolism, to ramp up production, to adapt to these stressors. We need to build muscle. We're having all these conflicts of interest. We're having these conflicts that we have to settle. We're having, something's attacking. We're having to push off all this weight. We're having to jump. Your body just reacts to the stimulus of exercise by producing muscle tissue, increasing your cardiovascular performance. So it has to happen. If you don't, and yet you still want your metabolism to increase, that's literally like me wanting something like, hey, I want scrambled eggs, but I want to be able to crack the egg and it just comes out scrambled. Or I want a steak that is medium, but I want it to come raw, right out of the cow. I want, but I don't want to have to do the work in between. Same thing. If you want to increase your metabolism, you've got to put in some work. And the most important characteristic, it actually isn't the intensity of your exercise, it's your consistency. If you can go through the most rigorous, hard workout of your life, and if you do it for 1 week and quit, that don't mean crap. The person that's going at a snail's pace, the tortoise, working 6 months in, is going to have more results than you did in that 1 week of training. So you've got to stick to something that you can actually at least come to grips with. You might even enjoy some forms of training. But you've got to get there. The next thing you should do, look at that. That's practical, very practical knowledge. I told you, practicality. I'm on a practicality high. And actually, here's the funniest part about this. Practicality in this podcast doesn't mean nothing if nobody takes action. If nobody does anything, then I can sit here all day on this microphone and talk, and I literally induce zero change. I help nobody. So you need to take action. Number 3 is your actual diet. Here's what happens when people go on a fat loss diet right now. They severely cut their calories. They feel like if I just eat vegetables and salads and chicken and broccoli, that I'll lose weight because that's what I'm told. So that's what I'm going to do. They do it for like 2 to 4 weeks. They experience results. They lose weight and they quit because that's a really, really bad diet. It's not something that's sustainable. It's not something that you're going to do for the next 40 years. Not next time you're going to do for the next 10 years. However much longer you're granted on this planet, you're not going to do it. So don't get into the habit of doing phase diets or things where I'm only going to do this for 8 weeks. I'm going to get my results and then that's it. No. Change the mode of thinking. And actually, in reality, it's not necessarily a bad train of thought. I cycle diets. I go through periods where I gain weight, I lose weight, I put muscle, I lose fat. There's things I do that I change. But I'm speaking more so of this, hey, just do this 30-day cleanse and you'll lose all the weight that you'll ever need to lose, and then you can go back to eating pizza and all that. Like that's actually a real thing. People really try to push that. So that's what I'm just speaking about. This got to be this dietary change. You're going to make a new nutrition plan for you. It needs to be something that you actually enjoy doing. It's got to be livable within your preferences of food. Has to be. So if you're somebody that comes from an Italian heritage, you really love pasta, lasagna, garlic bread, all that stuff. What I would do, here you go. Here's what I would, if that was a client of mine, middle-aged, needs to lose 30 pounds, maybe has hypothyroidism, so their metabolism needs really jacked up. First of all, they've got to get regular activity in, like we talked about. But when it comes to their nutrition, if they're telling me they're Italian heritage, their family loves family dinners, they go to holidays often, whatever, they all go to the cousin's house every other Sunday. Look, I'm not telling them they're going to change their heritage or their culture. It's moronic. But that's what people do. They say, well, just eat the paleo diet. Okay, well that's great, but if I have family dinners 3 times a week, how the hell am I going to eat the paleo diet when there's lasagna being served? I'm not making my own little side salad over here. So it's practicality. You've got to give advice and knowledge that actually can be put into action here. So here's what you do. You take all that into account. That's right. Take it into account. You don't excuse it. If I know, I've got people that say, hey, look, I really do this every Friday. I go out with the wife for dinner. Okay. That's great. Let's work within that parameter. I'm not going to tell you not to go out to dinner with your wife. So same thing. Figure out your wants, your desires, your preferences. Really, almost like make a list, right? It doesn't have to be a physical, maybe it's mental, but make a list of things you really enjoy, and then kind of like scratch off ones that you can do without. Like, for instance, I like ice cream, but like I don't need it in my life every week. I don't. Probably get it. I think I go through phases with it. Like there's weeks where maybe for a 3 or 4 week period, I get it every weekend. I go out on Saturday and get Ben and Jerry's every single week. Then there's periods of 8 to 9 weeks where I don't get it once, right? So that's something I can live without. Make that list of yours. Figure out what you can and can't do. If you like steak, especially a higher fat cut, and you really love it, then keep it in. You can work with that. If you like donuts, and right now, you get them every morning, so you absolutely love them, we can work with that. It ain't going to be every day, I'm telling you right now. But you don't have to say it's got to be all gone. See you later. You can keep it if you really enjoy it. There is things, and that's what I want to get, but this flexibility of actual nutrition. You can be so flexible. I enjoy things on the reg. People, oh man, this is what kills me. Probably twice a week, I eat food that is considered quote-unquote bad for you. Twice a week, and I'm a personal trainer. I'm a health and fitness professional, you name it. And I do it. And I'm not over here weighing 300 pounds. I'm not even 200 pounds. I'm not 250. I'm going to the gym. I'm doing the things that to account for all this, all right? So you've got to get a nutrition plan that works for you. Here are just some general things you have to do. You actually have to eat calories. Take your body weight, for most people, times it by 15. If you're 200 pounds, times it by 15, it's 3,000. 3,000 calories is about what you should be eating for maintenance. It's about. Especially, now, hold on. That number is with planned physical activity built into it. Planned physical activity. So if you're working out, like I said, 4 or 5 times a week, and you're 200 pounds, about 3,000 calories is going to be around your maintenance level. You can always adjust. That's a good starting point. Now, I bet you most people go, holy cow, that is a lot of calories. That is a lot of calories. And yes, it is, because you're used to not eating that much. You're used to being told, you don't get to eat that many calories, you pig. You don't get to eat all that. What are you, trying to be obese on purpose? You don't eat 3,000 calories. You're told this, you're fed this. And what happens is, you end up, you might settle for a diet on a daily average of like 2,200 calories. Okay? 2,200 calories you settle into. And, maybe you lost a little weight when you first started doing that, but eventually now you've plateaued and you've been eating about the same for a year. You only eat 3 times a day. Each meal is about 800 calories, 2,400 calories, something like that, right? You've just down-regulated your metabolism. And that's not a poke or an insult to you. I'm just telling you what's happening. When you eat less calories than your body can really handle at a maintenance level, you're essentially giving away free calories and telling your body to slow down and down-regulate. And it happens. Your body's going to adjust to kind of whatever you do. So you're going to have to be able to be on the audible game, right? You have to be able to make audibles. You have got to be able to change plays, figure out new strategies as you move along. As you move along, there's going to be things you're going to have to change here and there. But your body's going to adapt. So if you're only eating 2,200 calories and you're 200 pounds, and you're not losing weight, yeah, that's because your metabolism is down-regulated. It's down-regulated. It's conserving energy. So it's going to be really hard for you not to. So first thing, analyze your diet. Figure out in 7 days, I don't care if you're old school, put it on a piece of paper then. There's apps, MyFitnessPal, for free. You can scan labels and everything. It goes right in, it calculates how many calories you're eating. Look at 7 days worth, how many calories am I eating? That's my average daily intake. You take those 7 days, you add them together, you divide by 7. That's my average. That number, if that's not your body weight times 15 or anywhere close to there, you're under consuming calories. Get up to the number of maintenance. Work up. You might even gain some weight in the process. That's fine. But your body will then upregulate your metabolism, will bring it up, and eventually you'll plateau at the new calorie level. So here we go. Practical knowledge. If you're somebody that's consuming 2,400 calories and your magic maintenance level is 3,000, so your average is 2,400, increase it to 3,000 and do that for 7 days. Weigh in, on a Sunday, eat for 7 days. Next Sunday, weigh in again and see what happens. If you've gained weight, that's okay. Your body's getting used to it. It's going to take that metabolism and slowly begin to increase it again, especially if this is all with exercise. This is a total picture. If you're not doing one of the things we're talking about today, then you're going to have a lack of end result, right? So something in this train of thought is going to be out of whack. So you've got to do all of the above. If you gain weight, it's fine. Do it again for 7 days. Try it again. Still gain weight? Do it again. Do it until you don't gain weight. Do it until you don't gain weight. Now, if you gain like a lot of weight, there are going to be some cases. Maybe somebody gains 5 pounds in the first week. A lot of it's going to be water. You're not going to gain 5 pounds of fat. If you continue to gain weight over time, you could bring it down a little bit. Like there's things you can adjust. Like on the micro level, there are things that are going to happen. But again, this is just a general strategy. There's people listening here that I can't get that specific for. Once you've eaten at that level for some time, I'd say there for like a week or two. Eat that maintenance level. If you don't gain weight, cool. Stay there for like a week or two, and now you can cut calories by like 500 to 700. And then do the same thing in reverse. Weigh in. Did I lose weight? Great. I'm gonna eat the same, and keep eating until you plateau, and then go back to your new maintenance. So this is gonna be a good example to wrap this up. You're 200 pounds. You're eating 2,400 calories on a daily average. You change it to 3,000, and you start working out. Let's say you never worked out. You were just eating that number and not doing anything. Now you started to work out 4 to 5 times a week. You're eating 3,000 calories, and after week 1, you didn't gain a pound. You stayed about the same. But you're eating more food now. Every single day, you're eating more food. So now your body's starting to adjust to this exercise. Your metabolic rate's slowly increasing. Now what you do is you cut that to like 2,500 calories, or 23, or 24, back to what you were eating. Keep the activity, keep the nutrition, and reweigh in. You should now be on the path to losing weight. Should now be on the path of losing weight. You could cut one more time if you really wanted, but that's getting too advanced. That's it in a nutshell, folks. That's it. You bounce back and forth between a couple of different target goals. You got to increase your physical activity. The types of foods, it's got to be high protein. I literally, I can't believe we're in this day and age and people are, if anybody knee jerks at you for a high protein diet, they're in trouble. They're in trouble because everybody's high protein. Even people that are in paleo are like, whoa, it's a moderate protein. People address protein now. Your body needs protein. Even, I've just watched a video this morning, cyclists, those that do like marathon on the bikes and stuff, they ride for miles and miles and for like 3 hours at a time. They're now introducing protein drinks into their actual event instead of just all carbohydrate drinks, and they're showing benefit. Protein's where it's at. Consume lots of meat, lots of dairy. Supplement with protein shakes. If there's one supplement that you're going to buy, it's got to be a protein supplement. Whey protein, casein, a combination, a blended protein. I'm just telling you, it's a lot easier to drink 25 to 30 grams of protein than it is to eat that much, and as often as you need. So, I would definitely pick up a protein supplement. But that's it. High protein. You can go moderate fat, moderate carb, and adjust from there depending on how your body reacts, what your preferences are. All that can be changed. But that's in a nutshell. So if you have hypothyroidism and you have a slower metabolism, number 1, get your levels fixed. Talk to your doctor. Get the dosage right. Then number 2, start working out. I don't even care if it's just doing push-ups and body weight squats at first. It's going to suck, especially if you haven't worked out in a long time. It's going to suck. But just commit to it. 4 to 5 days. 4 days a week? Not even that bad. You could do 2 days during if you work a regular job Monday through Friday and you hate working 8 hours and then come in and work out, just do it twice. Go like Tuesday, Thursday. Just twice a week, and then go Saturday, Sunday. You're at home. Do it. Get up in the morning and go do a 40-minute workout or whatever, an hour workout. It's not going to kill you. Do that, and then on your diet, figure out eat more food because here's the deal. If you're under eating now, if you're under eating because some internet guru told you or some paleo advocate told you to do what you're doing, and you're eating 1,200 calories, and your maintenance level is 2,900. Or 2,500, and you're eating half of that, you're even further slowing your metabolic rate. So imagine if you have hypothyroidism, and you're consuming no calories, and you have no energy, so you can't work out. Are you starting to figure out why that is now? You have an artificial, if you're not, let's put it this way, if you're not an optimally dosed T4 regimen, if you're, not getting enough of that so that your hormone's still a little out of whack, you're literally have an artificially low metabolic rate to start, and now you're eating low amount of calories, so your body's going, holy crap, there's no food anywhere. We have to down-regulate everything we do in this body and burn off no energy. We got to keep it all. It down-regulates, so now there's no energy. You're not burning off anything. You're feeling sluggish, so you don't go to the gym. So you don't mechanically increase your calorie burn off that way, your energy expenditure that way from activity. Now you're plateaued. Now you're stuck, and you're not even eating a lot of food. Make sense? Closing remark. Take action. I don't like complainers. I don't like whiners. You have the control over everything. If you need help in this arena, go to YouTube, watch our mental nutrition series. It's ongoing. They're like 2 minutes, 120 seconds, and it gives you a message. So every time you watch it, you're going to get a principle. You're going to get a theory. You'll get a message on how to develop your willpower, develop the mental aspect of your fitness routine, how to get in the right place of mind, how to quit complaining, how to quit whining. It's going to help you there. If you need the artificial boost, I'm all for it. But eventually, you're going to have to create your own. You're going to have to find your reason. You got to find the why. You're going to have to find your why. It's not an easy game. It's not easy. No, if anybody tells you it's easy, they're lying to you to sell you something, most likely. It's not easy. But don't give up before you even take a shot. So to wrap up, folks, if you're somebody that has hypothyroidism, if you don't have the right medicine, and you don't work out, and you don't eat correctly, and that could actually come in a lot of ways. You could still overeat and eat bad food on purpose and not care, or you could just eat super low calories thinking you're trying to get healthy, and oh my God, I just can't lose weight. It's my thyroid. Meanwhile, you're crushing your metabolism even further. These are things you got to do. 3 steps. You've got to do all of them. So you can't do one of them. You can't just do 2. Do them all. Start tomorrow. There's no excuse. We hope you've liked this podcast. Again, I'm on this real big practical trip here. So check us out. Social media is Rams and Elite Fitness, Facebook and Instagram, which our Instagram is now popping. We are posting over there so often. So please check that out. It's great. Email address is ramsandelitefitness@gmail.com. Send us your questions, your comments. We love hearing from everybody, and we look forward to seeing you all next week.